Hey, fantastic. Hey, everybody. It is Friday night, and we are the Asea 5, plus or minus a few. And we're coming to you. I'm down in Galveston, Texas. I'm Dr. Maureen Hayes, and I'm joined by our regulars, Jim and Ann Glenn from San Antonio. Jim is our big money man, and Ann is our beautiful nutritionist and physical trainer. And of course, we have Dr. Lee Osler from the state of Washington, who is a dentist extraordinaire and the author of two books that we absolutely love, Redox Matters and Healthy Matters. And if you haven't gotten them, please go to redoxmatters.com and get yourself a copy, because it will help you to understand what we have our hands on, which is absolutely amazing. And tonight, we're so blessed to have two fan favorites come back to speak with you. We have Beth Wofford from Kentucky. As you know, she's the horse whisperer and one of our animal experts. She runs a webinar. Been doing that, kind of running that show since I got involved almost 10 years ago. So at least 10 years, Beth, correct? And then we have,
correct.
We're also joined by Dr. Marty Morin from Maryland. Dr. Marty is a veterinarian, but he's also a research veterinarian, has worked with pharmaceutical companies, and just has a wealth of information, and is also one of the most well-known faces in Asea. If you haven't seen the picture, and I'm sure we'll show it to you tonight, he's the only person I know who used the products on just on one half of his face. He wanted to prove it to himself, and he not only did that, he proved it to all of us as well. So we are so blessed and thankful to have them. And I'm so happy to be back and to be seeing all your names popping up there. So we'll go ahead and get started. Beth, you want to roll us into the show? Take it away. Give us a little bit of background. Tell us how you're using it, what you do with it on your 80-acre horse farm, and
Sure.
why you think this is important.
Sure. I found Asea, or Asea found me. I think that sometimes happens 12 and a half years ago now. And it was so long ago, and the company was so new, that I kind of was the first animal professional that was identified as, as signing up in Asea. So I had the pleasure to be kind of earmarked as the animal person, the Redox animal person, which it's a mantle I happily don. But I started a monthly animal call, and we didn't have the technology back then in the olden days, then the dark ages, to record the calls any longer than a month. And then the new call would take over and record. So we didn't have a library. So, and then in 2017, technology finally caught up with us, and we started doing a monthly webinar, and we were able to archive those. And those are now available at animalwebinar.com. And there are almost 40 webinars there that tell stories about animals of all species. So it's a very nice research tool to use for people who really want to know if they can help animals. The beauty of helping animals with this product is there is no placebo. Animals cannot be talked into or out of the fact that these molecules work. They know, and they have such an innate sense of what's good for them that very, very often, an animal that'll kind of shy away from it at first because they think it smells bad, or there's something strange about it. As soon as they drink it for a day or two, I mean, the stories are abound that they come running when they see their owner pick up the bottle. They are really excited about drinking their molecules, and it happens so quickly. With animals, these products seem to take effect just more rapidly. At least I would love to hear Marty's take on that. But they're just again, part of it is that they don't talk themselves out of it. And is it possible, Marty, that they have kind of an accelerated lifespan, so their bodies, they might just see changes in their bodies quicker? I don't know. That's just my opinion, but it does seem to be that animals are quickly realize the benefits of these molecules.
I think you hit it the first time, which is humans talk themselves out of a benefit that's staring them right in the face. Animals never do that.
Hey, real quick, Lee, can you go ahead and do the medical, or Maureen or Dr. Marty, do the medical disclaimer? Because this is for human use only technology. Marty,
Yeah, we
maybe
can
you're the
really,
best.
we can really do two disclaimers, because the first
Okay.
one is Asea is a human supplement. We're not making medical claims for Asea. It's not here to diagnose, treat, cure, even prevent any chronic health challenge. I hate stopping on a negative, though. Every time Asea has done an in-house study or worked with the best laboratories in the world, this product always helps cells move to a higher state of function and better communication. So the second disclaimer is, as Jim said, this is a human supplement. We're not marketing it directly for animals. And so, you know what? I haven't met a dog or a horse yet with a credit card. So we have to talk to a human anyway. And if we get the human to say, that's worth a try, that's really what we need. We need people who are willing to try. And then, just like Beth, they'll take it to their animals the next day.
You know what, Marty? We say that, and Beth, we say it's not for animals. And yet one of our most impressive studies was done on mice. And it showed that giving the product to mice, they would run further, 29% further than mice that were not on the product.
Well, Maureen, we've already said it works better for animals. All right. No, what's happening is we're not marketing it for animals. This is approved as a human supplement on the human side of the FDA. It would never get approved now on the animal side of FDA. First of all, they're tougher than the human side, but now the FDA knows this is good, so pharma would block them from approving it.
Interesting.
Hey, so Marty, I remember first learning about you about 5, 6 years. Can you hear me okay?
No.
No, see, I can't hear. Can I just use his mic?
Just speak more into it.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's still not good.
I'm going to use yours. Jim seems to have the good one. Jim has a good one.
Can you hear her now with that one?
Now?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, Marty, when I first got introduced to you really fast, 5, 6 years ago, you had said, at least this is what I heard about the story, was that you did your half face thing because you had to prove it to other medical people that it was working. And I don't even know if I have the story right. And then you had just said a little while ago, you had was it your granddaughter that was with you? That's so fun. And then you had said in one of our talks that, you know, instead of trying to get the vet for the animals, which is not almost impossible, you had said just get the person to fall in love with it as for themselves, them see the benefit. You saw medical benefits or health benefits to your body, but us too. I mean, we have animals. We've had up to 3 at one time, and they've used the products, and they have optimal health because of it. So maybe.
Oh no, this product works better for animals. But back to the silly half face. Jim, why don't you go find that picture? But
I love it.
This is a edited down photograph, and what Anne is alluding to is the original photograph had my granddaughter at 9 in the picture. I don't know if Jim, that's the crop down one, just where it says 28 days applied gel on that left side. That's where my granddaughter Audrey was at the age of 9, perfect skin. So I was trying to show a gradation from perfect skin to what I guess at that time I was about late 60s. And so my skin on one side was certainly not perfect, but the side that got the Renew for 28 days was significantly younger looking. Actually, it was fuller, as if it had been moisturized. Now, do I look like somebody who would moisturize? So the thing in the Renewed 28 gel, it helps, like all Redox products, it helps the cells work better, in this case, skin cells. And so they were just fixing themselves. The gel doesn't fix skin. Asea liquid doesn't fix our body. What we do is we help cells move to a higher state of function. And in that case, 28 days, one side of my face was significantly younger than the other. And it wasn't trying to prove it to myself, Maureen. I had so many skeptics looking at my anti-aging photographs and saying, you stupid guy, that's just Photoshop. Now, these are my friends. So you can imagine the people who didn't like me, what they said. But so, I had a face 3D in color standing in front of them. It was hard for them to say I was Photoshopped.
I love that, Marty. And, it's true because all of our photos that we use are just regular people taking, photos. They're not professionally done. The lighting is not great. And so sometimes people say, oh yeah, the lighting, they changed something. They put makeup on, they're smiling in the second picture. But, for most of them, you can see a definite change. And I'm not going to show them, but I love looking at my before. Okay, good. Thank God you went back to Marty, because my before and after picture is so profound. And I mean, that was over a number of years, but it's like, oh, okay, well, we're all aging, right? But this took place in 28 days. You can imagine if you weren't using the product, what you would look like in a number of years. And, just even looking at this group of people, I mean, Beth, I haven't seen you in a while. You look fabulous. The rest of the group, I say, yeah, you look amazing. And, Marty, you as well, you were saying you were 69 in that picture. And I'm trying to remember how long ago that was, which means that
8 years ago. So I'm 75.
Wow. And you look phenomenal for your age. And
Yeah.
I'm watching Anne.
Well, so part of me is stuffed, so that helps.
Taxidermy.
Yes.
That's great. I might use a little bit of that myself. But yeah, we're all slowing the aging process, maybe even aging a little bit in reverse. And, it's pretty amazing to see. So I'm so glad you did that photo. So
well, while we're on Renew and the half face photo, and my granddaughter Audrey was in it, let's maybe segue real quick to the new skin line, because my wife Kathy, so there's Grandma, our daughter, and Audrey are all playing with that new skin line, and so we got 3 generations working with the skin line and all loving it. So this is combined with the Redox supplement, Renew 28. There's a product that if you want relatively fast return or information about how well this technology is working, you think about getting the skin line, give it a try.
I'm so glad you brought it up. And you're using the skincare. Beth,
Sure am.
you
I
are.
love it.
And you know what? Unlike our other,
Me too.
I was going to say, more men are using,
Look at Lee.
our old products. I don't know why, they were in shades of blue. You would think the guys would be okay with that. More of them are using these beautiful peach colored products. And, part of it is that they're seeing the change in the girl's skin so quickly, so dewy and moist. And you were talking about your skin looks moisturized and you glow. That the guys went in on it too. And it's just been a total home run. Beth, would you speak a little bit about it? And then, Jim, you and Anne, and even Lee. I want to hear everybody's experience with the skincare, because it's a phenomenal skincare line. I just love it.
Sure, absolutely. And you did a wonderful job explaining it when it was first introduced. You all did a fabulous job. I loved the old skincare line. I loved the idea that Asea came out with a healthy skincare, because people were getting wonderful results from the Renew 28, but they were putting, nasty cleansers and moisturizers on, in along with it. So in an effort, which they have done a beautiful job becoming a complete cellular company, they came out with a skincare line, which I loved. And I was very trepidatious, because I'm really picky about my skincare. I mean, I'm not big on, I don't care about wrinkles and all that kind of thing, but I just know that my skin is so much healthier that I just thought, oh, I hope I can use this, because I won't use it if I don't like it. And I should have known, because Asea doesn't ever market anything that's not top notch and that's just wonderful. And as soon as I put that cleanser on, which is the first stage, and it feels like putting whipped cream on your face, and I said, oh, this is going to be great. And it has just been wonderful. I
I know.
love it.
That was when Gina called and asked me to beta test it. That was my first thing. I was like, Gina, I hope you guys did not mess with my foaming cleanser. She's like, we messed with it. And I was not happy. But you're right. You know, it no longer smells like candy, which I used to love, but it feels like spun silk or something. Your skin is just so soft. And then, Anne, it looks like you're getting ready to say something. You want to talk about the toner?
Well, I shifted. Can you hear me
I'm fine
okay?
with this one.
Yeah,
What does it?
yeah, I shifted microphones.
Okay, I'm fine with anything. All right, so I love the new skincare. For one, I think they were listening. Can you hear me? See, it's not even good, Jim.
You can't hear?
No, it just sounds muffled, a little muffled. Like
Fire.
Hey, that one's turned off.
Oh,
oh,
well,
Jim, how come you sound so good?
I'm trying, but I get
It's her-
equipment. I'm like, okay, I'm eating the thing. Okay, you ready?
Maybe you're too close to it. Move it
You
away.
told me to be close. Okay,
Interesting.
was that better? No,
Yeah.
at least
little
it yes. Okay, so I'm using this equipment. Anyways, I think Asea was listening because 40% more product is in the cleanser. Can y'all hear that? And then there's 40% more in the moisturizer. So you're spending, the 3-step regimen for $145. And it has no gluten, no animal products, very natural, chamomile, but microbiome, stuff that replaces retinol for those who've used that. I mean, it all feels great. And men can use it. I liked how y'all did it on stage with the men involved. That was lovely with Chuck and Tyler. But I mean, I can't say enough about how it works with the redox signaling and redox signaling being your third step. And you can really do all 5 pretty quickly. You can really skip through them pretty quick. So if you haven't tried it, check it out, order it, maybe use the loyalty rewards to check it out.
So, can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Why are you better than Anne?
You know what?
I think it may be the lower voice.
I think it's where I'm sitting and Jim has the predominant seat. I think it's because of that.
Yeah, sit in his lap, please, Anne.
I cannot do that.
Or
So-
switch seats because he's so loud.
He
We can
won't switch. He will not switch. Yeah, he won't switch.
yeah.
We're having a family
Oh, it's
squabble right here, right now.
good. I'm fine.
See, and I don't know if it's the microphone or the computer microphone that's picking this up. But, real quick, I just want to show this other picture of one of our associates in El Paso. And she started on the product. And what was amazing, can y'all see that picture?
Yes.
That was 4 weeks. And what was amazing about the picture of Josie is right before they took the after picture, and this is with the old product. This is just with Renew twice a day, and she was drinking 4 ounces of Asea. She said it didn't work. And her husband said the exact same thing. So, and I'll challenge any man out there that says they don't want to age slower. Because if they say no, they're flat out lying. I'll just be blunt. We all want to age. And I'm a baby boomer. I'm an ex-stockbroker. The baby boomers are the largest segment going through the population. And the other key thing is the baby boomers have the majority of the money. So their biggest concern is they don't want to age as fast. They want to age slower. So the pictures that Marty had, and then the pictures that we had of all the other people, I've got Rosie as well, Mark Mulaney's mother. And that's what I was going to say. I asked Josie, I said, hey, Josie, will you ever quit? She said, you've got to be crazy. Do you think I want to go back looking like that again? Because that's what would happen, right? But with this new technology, it's going to, even like Marty said, it's going to work quicker and better. And I just feel better because I obviously get a lot of sun. I do a lot of yard work and I like being outdoors a lot. And as soon as I come inside from getting too much sun, I do all the entire regimen on my face. I want to protect my face and I want to protect the rest of my body. So yeah, I think any man, everybody should do this. And then we've had a lot of younger people that have had serious issues with their face that have had phenomenal response as well.
Mm-hmm.
Suntan.
Well, one of the things we should probably talk about is the fact that this technology, we're talking about skin, and it's your largest organ, so it's a good thing to talk about. But redox supplementation is available to every cell in your body. And as much as I guess I get known because of this half-face experiment I did, I care a whole lot more about heart cells and lung cells and brain cells. All of your cells can function younger if you use this technology.
That is such an important point. But it's really funny, Marty, that a lot of people will invest money into cosmetic things. They're used to spending money. I will have people who will say, the drink is too expensive, but then you talk about the skincare and they're like, oh my gosh, that's so cheap. And it's like, where are your priorities? but I get it. I get it. People want to look good. It's not how you feel, it's how you look, right? But it's amazing. And what I do love is that you can sneak good health into people with this product, and now our whole skincare set is powered by Redox. So we have Redox substrate in them. Not everything is a Redox molecule, but everything feeds into the Redox reactions, or a good number of the ingredients. But you know what? You can, because of absorption into your body, even if they're just using this, even if they're just using it for vanity reasons, they're going to absorb it and they're going to get some health benefits from it as well. So this is such a great segue product, but all of the products that we have right now are absolutely amazing. And Lee, I have to ask you, because every time I see you, every week you look younger. So.
Well, yes. Everything we've been talking about is, I embrace it. And my comment about the skincare system is it's really easy. I'm sitting here as a guy and I see the women come along and advertisements or whatever. And it's like, I'm not going to spend, 15, 20, 30 minutes a day, pampering my skin. It's like, I'm a guy, I got things to do. And one of the things that was really helpful was just kind of watching the demonstration that was on stage when our two big guys, kind of humorously went through the motion. And I think the humor that they brought out with it when they introduced it in that, if anybody's seen that, that video or was there live and watched it, the guys relate to that because this is kind of uncomfortable. This is, we're macho. It's like, we're not going to stoop to this. We're guys. And, you kind of have to override this a little bit and say, yeah, this is about health. The skin health is important. And I realize that, scars are better than tattoos because they have better stories, but our skin gets kind of irritated and we age quicker. I'd like to make a little comment. Marty made a comment about aging, and he's 8 years older than when he started. At least that's what his comment was. So obviously, chronologically, he hasn't reversed in aging. Yet we talk about this anti-aging or even reverse aging, and it's important, I think, to point out that we're talking about biological aging. We're talking about biological clocks, and in these cellular and biochemical pathways, the degree of functioning that's occurring. This is how electrons get moved around. This is the behavior of proteins. It's the behavior of the energy metabolism. It's the efficiency with which pathway genes become activated and how they execute their function. This all results in, less DNA methylation. It results in the biological clocks reversing, at least slowing down, stopping, or even now reversing. And if you get into the anti-aging research, the science that's coming on, I think this is kind of the dawn of a new era, even in Asea or in redox biochemistry, in redox biology, is the idea that we really can not reverse our chronological clock, but we can reverse our biological clock, and we become more healthy. And this is the essence of healthy longevity. It's not just about getting old or avoiding getting old. It's about being healthy as we chronologically become older. And that's why we look better. And that's really evidence. That's really evidence to the idea that we do show our age. It does come out. I have a question for Marty. Maybe this is, maybe Beth too. It's like, we're sitting here talking about anti-aging, and obviously animals can't think that through. They don't know whether they're younger or older. They just exist, right? But in your work with them, is there any way within the animal world that you see the same thing? Are they more spry? Are they more active? Or do they, I don't know how a horse looks prettier. It's like, I don't know what, their skin isn't right out there like ours is, but how would you address that, if at all?
Well, just to myself first, I mean, I started in Asea at 66 and I'm 75, so 9 years ago. And I was old and sick at 66. That's hard to say. But now I'm 75 and I'm significantly healthier than I was. Now, I'm not going to claim that I look younger than I did at 66, but I'll tell you what, my body is significantly younger. My cells are younger. And when I do talk to people who are wanting to put this product on an older dog or an older cat, primarily those are the questions, but it works for all animals. I say, now just be assured you're ready for a puppy and a kitten. Because that's what you'll get. You'll get a much more active animal. I don't care what age you start using the product with dogs and cats for sure. My guess is you would say the same about horses, Beth.
Definitely. And of course, hearing thousands of stories now after the last 12 and a half years, I think some of the most powerful and dramatic changes come with older animals, like you were talking about, where I can't tell you the number of times. And I mean, this is not just one or two times. Many times I have heard that an older animal, very beloved pet, they take them to the vet. The vet says, kidney function shutting down, things are going bad. It's really time. It's time to say goodbye. And the owner says, I'm going to take my animal home so my family can say goodbye. And they take the animal home and call their friend and say, do you have some of that stuff? I will try anything, because they've heard about it from somebody else. They've heard about it years ago and blew it off, but they're so desperate to help their dying animal. And when they start giving these molecules, they say things like, and after about an hour, he lifted his head and I gave him, put more in with a little syringe. And after, by that evening, he wanted to eat. And I'm not saying this is a panacea. This is going to bring an animal back to life, but they many times live several more months, not only live longer, but they have this beautiful quality of life. They enjoy life again. Everything's fine. And then they die quietly, 6 or 8 months later. And it's just such a gift when people are so they're so emotional when they talk about this. Not that they weren't thinking that Asea was going to save their animal's life, but to have that gift of just helping them feel better longer and having a better quality of life and then passing peacefully. That happens very often with older animals. Yeah.
And what we're talking about, of course, there is no distinction here between a human life and an animal life in this conversation. Both depend on redox molecules. And so if I could, Beth, cue up your goldfish story. But one of the first experiences I had with an animal and redox molecules was a friend of ours. We actually wanted her to give the product a try because she had some of that cell growing out of control problem. But she told us no. But a few weeks later, she called up and said, do you still have some of that stuff? Everybody calls it the stuff. We didn't understand it. We didn't understand what it was or what it was capable of doing. But she had a cat. And now I should say that this friend is a vet tech. So she's very competent all by herself. She was working with a veterinarian, not me. On a cat, and the cat was failing. It was it was getting to that stage Beth was just describing. The cat was actually starting to turn yellow, so you can guess what organ was affected in this particular cat. Gone off feed, not moving well, looking really bad color-wise. And she said, do you still have some of that stuff? And I said, well, look, I can't tell you how it's going to work, but sure, come get it. And she started with this cat. And in a few days, the cat started to, and I should say that the cat had been so off food, it wasn't using the litter box at all. That's really bad news. And so the cat started to eat. And pretty soon the cat was back using the litter box, and she really got excited. She called up and said, Hazel is playing with me again, right? She didn't just have her cat turn around on the health standpoint. And let's be clear, the product did not save that cat. The product helped cell after cell after cell function better. And then the cat's body started to heal itself. And this woman was so, I'll just tell you, she's a beautiful person, but she won't spend money on herself. She'll spend it on her animals. And that's what we're finding all over. Of all the people here at Asea, and Maureen's got a huge team. I know Jim and Ann have a huge team. I think the person who has helped more folks worldwide learn about Asea is right over there with a horse over her right shoulder. Because Beth has done these testimonies and these stories, either, phone calls and now video recordings at animalwebinar.com. Write it down, animalwebinar.com. The password is the word associate, whether Beth wants me to tell that or not. Capital A associate. It's just a fabulous site. And because people will spend money on their animals that they won't spend on themselves, more people are using this product, and then they're sharing it with their friends who have a sick pet, and they're getting the courage to share it with a friend who has a sick relative. And this is spread. I think Beth has done a lot to spread Asea all over the world. Thank you, Beth.
Yeah,
That's so
Yes.
kind.
is there anything to say about dosing between humans and animals, or different size animals?
What I like to say about that is this is cellular, right? This is a cellular product. So I use more Asea than that healthy horse back behind Beth, right? This is not about weight. That horse weighs over 1,000 pounds. I don't. But I use more Asea than the horse, because the horse is young and I'm not. Right? This is about age and need, not about weight. Don't get mixed up with weight. A small cat that's sick, like this one we were just talking about, needed a lot of Asea to do that kind of a reversal, because the cat has just as many cells as the horse or me, right? It's cells.
Yeah, with our pets, I have 2 big shepherds, so we just pour it into a glass bowl, not metal, guys, but a glass bowl. And I have 6 cats, and they all drink Asea, and they sort of self dose. They drink as much as they need. But if you don't mind, Beth, I want to show something because you were involved in this. Jim, can you bring up that picture? Because you had said you can't really see a horse aging. I don't know if you can make it larger than that. This is a story, and Beth, you'll remember this. This is an ER doc who also raises horses and saves them from slaughter. And she had gotten this horse, and the horse just looked like it was on death's doorstep. And she's part of a Facebook group that I'm part of. And she put this poor animal up there. And I actually messaged her, and I said, and I'm a big animal lover, in case you didn't know. And I said, if I were to send you some product, would you use it on this horse? I think it could help. And she said, absolutely. And so I shipped a case of Asea and some Renew to her. And I don't know if you can see it. What they didn't know is this horse, she looked, I don't know what was wrong with her skin, just looked terrible. But what they didn't know was she was also pregnant, and she gave birth to a little filly in the middle of the night. And, the girl who had rescued her was like, oh my gosh, that you couldn't, she was skin and bones. And so she was giving her Asea orally, and I think rectally as well. And here's the mom. I don't know if you can see the before and after. Any way to enlarge that anymore, Jim? These are so profound. Look at the difference. The mom what she looked like when she was rescued, and then after being on Asea for a while. And her baby is just unbelievably, healthy and beautiful. She gave it to the baby too. Look at that baby. And it's so funny. She was looking for a name for the baby. And I said, why don't you name her Roxy, kind of short for Redox? And she said, that's the mom's name. Isn't that amazing?
Wow.
Yeah, really kind of gives me goosebumps. Anyway, you know what? If it can do that for a horse, if it can save a horse and turn a horse around like that,
Hey, Maureen,
yeah,
how much time transpired that the top left picture? I'm assuming that's the same horse.
that's the same horse.
That doesn't look possible. But how much time was that? Do you know?
Like maybe a month. It wasn't that.
That's
period of time.
yeah, that's amazing.
You remember,
Yeah.
Beth? It wasn't very long at all. I remember her putting the pictures on Facebook, and I was like, "Are you kidding me? That's Roxy."
I think her skin cleared up very quickly within a month. I think she put on weight. Obviously, you saw that she had dropped off around her backbone and everything. And she put on so much weight over a period of time, but you can see how her coat is glossy and healthy and shiny. And that's just as health came back. One of the things you did touch on is, rectally or orally. The beautiful thing about these molecules is because they don't have to be metabolized, it doesn't matter how you get them into the body. They're going to go where they're needed the most. Now, obviously, we as people drink things orally, and we suggest that people hold it in their mouths because the tissue, the lining of the mouth is so absorbent, and it will get into the system quicker. Interestingly enough, when you give a horse something orally, the way oral medications and things are made for horses, it's very viscous, it's very pasty, because a horse is going to always try to spit something out. So you can put, orally put a syringe in their mouth and squirt it in their mouth and hold their head up, but their heads weigh a ton. And so you can hold it up for a period of time, but you drop the head and they're going to spit some out. And that tears my soul. So we kind of started thinking about this, and the rectal tissue is also a very, very absorbent area of the body. And so and horses don't mind this nearly as much as people get wigged out when they try to do it. But most horse people know that a lot of things are done rectally with horses. And if you give it rectally, then it will go, because again, it doesn't have to go through the system. It doesn't have to be metabolized. It will go through the rectal tissue and go directly to where it's needed. And that's really been a lifesaver for horses, because it's much, much easier, and there's no loss of substance when you do it that way. So it's just a little heads up.
Well, while we're at the back door of the horse, hey, I'm an older guy, and my friends are older guys, and quite a few of them have prostate issues. And quite frankly, rectally is a really good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Marty, you had an issue with that, didn't you, in the beginning?
Well, I had a high PSA that dropped, but quite frankly, I'm not a big fan of the PSA test to begin with. So that wasn't my driver at the beginning. I did have that drop, and that's nice. But I had so many things changing: energy, sleep. I was watching my body get up off the couch. I mean,
Wow.
things were coming alive again that had been falling down. And at the beginning of my journey with Asea at age 66, I was scared. I'm not scared anymore.
Marty,
Wow.
how much Asea were you taking, and how much do you take now?
At the beginning, all we knew was 2 and 2, right? So I started with 2 and 2. But over time, we've all learned about the magic 8, and we're sort of increasing serving size as everybody feels the need to do that. I think Foster Malmed's coming on this call in a couple of weeks, and I had a conversation with Foster one day, and he said, "Marty, I drink a half a bottle a day." I said, "Why?" I mean, if you don't know Foster Malmed, he's one of the fittest individuals on the planet, as far as I know. And And I said, why? And he said, because I've watched miracle after miracle with people who drink, a fair bit of Asea, and why wouldn't I? And I said, Now that got my attention, I'll tell you. So I do over 8 ounces quite frequently.
That's awesome. Yeah, we drink 12 to 14. We'll do 16 if we do something aggressive like Big Bend, Texas, hiking or skiing. We'll definitely do more. So I just had a couple quick comments. Marty, I love the little video you did. You sent it to us a year or two ago. And I think you did it for an Asian group, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it wasn't Asian. And it was titled something to the effect, I'm sure you'll correct me, how animals heal naturally. And I've sent that to so many animal lovers. You remember if you did that? It's excellent. And then I've also sent the animal webinar that y'all have done together. I get asked that like every month. And I follow the Facebook page, the pets. So those are just great resources for those new on the show tonight that you can go to and check it out. Kim Burnett also has a wonderful in Facebook, I believe, or you can message her story about her own horse. And I've seen some other neat ones with the barbed wire, digging into the animal and the restoration. But, I know, Beth, you were great friends with Rob Ward, who we followed really from day one. And Lee's kind of picked up that torch. But, he taught 3 things in every one of his brochures or his blog or his site. He said, if you eat clean, which I follow, if you drink a lot of H2O, good clean water, and if you keep somewhat active, I recommend at least 3 times a week, some kind of cardio or just get moving, that all of that plays a part. Then that's the Healthy Matters book, which I've read cover to cover. If you live that lifestyle, then the Redox is going to work the most optimally. And you really could be your own inner doctor. So I appreciate y'all's impact that y'all have given.
Hey, Lee, real quick. I'm surprised it's 15, 20 minutes left and we haven't explained. If you don't mind, either you or Marty, what are these molecules? What are we even talking about? What are we doing this show for, Lee?
I'll start and then Marty can put the punctuation point on. Redox, REDOX, stands for reduction oxidation. That's a contraction word, and that's basically in a biochemistry way and biology way of talking about how electrons move around in our body. And when we mean electrons, we're really talking about energy. Everything in our body is based on a polarity. We can call it an energy gradient. There's a positive to negative gradient in all of our cells. That's, on our nerve conduction and everything. And so when we talk about cell signaling or cellular communication, obviously our cells don't have mouths and brains. They're not sentient. They're not speaking and communicating in the way we speak of it. But biologically, they're signaling or they're indicating, they're affecting a response to a condition so that our cells and our bodies can respond to adversity or to stress, and they can function in a way that helps to stabilize or balance the cell. And without these electrons moving around from one molecule or one atom to another based on these electrical charges, we wouldn't have life. We would cease to exist in probably a fraction of a second. And so redox is necessary. And Anne spoke to this, what I call the redox lifestyle, because nature is designed very natural ways and mechanisms whereby we can take care of ourselves. I've called that the inner doctor, and we awaken the inner doctor by making this a person, if you will, this entity, more responsive to things that go on in our environment that we call stress or adversity. And if we didn't do that, we wouldn't thrive. When our redox functioning begins to taper off with age or with disease condition or excessive, environmental stresses or pollutions or toxicities, when that starts to taper off for any of those reasons, then we don't function as well. We can't activate those responsive pathways that clean our cells up. That is kind of like the Pac-Man that runs through our brain at night when we're sleeping, digesting and eating and renewing taking care of all the damaged proteins and so forth that go on inside the cell that occur because we're living and we're metabolizing glucose and carbohydrates and fatty acids and so forth to make energy. And so at the basic level, this redox thing is simply what is called the redox regulatory circuit. It's a survival circuit. It's about health and longevity genes that can become turned on or manipulated or managed and regulated in a way that it favors our health and our survival. And if we don't do that, then we age more quickly. We get sicker quicker. And this has been a wonderful conversation as we see this demonstrated across biology. Some of us have seen and done the experiments of just putting a plant in a glass of water versus a glass, that has some redox molecules in it, and just watching what happens botanically to the cells of a plant. And so this is universal, ubiquitous, and we're just tapping into this basic science and how wonderful it is, in my view, that Asea, designed, stumbled across, however you want to, characterize it, this breakthrough that allowed us to stabilize these very same native molecules that we're making in our own mitochondria so that we can optimize that communication and that signaling. That's kind of my spin on it. Marty, finish it out.
Well, I want to pause right here and point out to folks, we don't want you to miss this, right? I was not so brilliant that I decided to use redox signaling molecules because of science. I was lucky enough to say, yes, I'll try it. Then my body started to change. It ran through our entire family, 3 generations, all doing better because it was their recoveries that got my attention. Not because I'm smarter than anybody else. I think I could say the same for Dr. Lee. While he's a brilliant guy and a fabulous author, I think it was his wife's recovery that got your attention, right? And made you dig in and study. Same for Dr. Hayes. She wasn't too impressed with this product at the beginning, but her husband was having a benefit. See, we could run right through this and say, if you don't try this, you have the very great risk of missing it. And so while Dr. Lee talked about electron transfers, my image for all this is just a phone, right? I have a cell phone. It's not worth 2 cents. This thing can't do anything. If there's not a cell tower outside, this is useless, right? I might not even be able to call 911 if there's not a cell tower outside. And so I want you to think about every one of your cells, 75, 100 trillion, however, whose count you like, but 75 trillion cells, useless without a cell tower, right? Don't miss this, folks. You just have to make the decision to order some and give it a try. And if you're really worried about finances, get 2 tubes of this and 10 friends, and you'll know in an hour and a half. Because everybody will be big-eyed and saying, what just happened to me? So there's a way to do this. I say 3 months and drink plenty. But if you have to do it fast, somebody show you how to do 3 times in 5 minutes and do it on a bunch of your friends, and you will be coming back to Jim or Ann or Beth or Lee and saying, hey, how do I get this stuff? How do I get
Not
it?
Maureen. No, not Maureen. No,
Don't call Maureen.
You call me. No. Maureen's.
I'm back. Hey, listen, speaking of fast, can we just touch a little bit on the cell performance products that are brand new? Because talk about a fast response. What do you guys think? What have you noticed, Marty and Beth? What have you experienced so far?
Well,
Go ahead, Marty.
what? I'm not going to jump in on that one. You go ahead, Beth.
Go ahead, Beth.
Okay. Well, I first want to make sure everyone understands Marty's credentials and why he is being deferred to several times, even by other very prominent healthcare professionals. Marty is a research scientist. He's a research veterinarian, retired now, but a very, very bright man. So I just wanted to be sure that that's people put that in perspective as well. But the cell performance products are wonderful. I for 11 years, I drank the special concoction that I somehow stumbled across that was Chinese herbs. It was a little what Alan Noble calls his a pink drink, but that's what I drank every single morning. I drank my Chinese herbs. I'd mix it up in water. It was kept getting more and more expensive, but it was very expensive. But it was just made every time I tried to stop and think, do I really need this? And it really did. It was something that my body really needed. So when they came out with the energy product, and all three of them are wonderful, but the energy product is really what got, and I thought, well, this will be really interesting because I'd love to use my Asea products. And then I found out how much they cost. It's like half as expensive. And if it didn't work as well, I wouldn't have stopped my Chinese herbs. But as soon as I drank that energy product, that's it. I no longer, after 11 years, I'm not taking my Chinese herbs anymore because that product is so special. I drink it every single morning, first thing before I go to the barn, and it's the best. It's fabulous. The mind I found is fabulous too, because it just sharpens. It's hard. It's not as dramatic, I have found, than the energy product, because I just feels just like, you're ready to go. But the mind I take when I have to, like, it's the end of the month. I have to do all the bills. I do all the paperwork and office work with our horse business. So I have to send out all the bills, and I write everybody a note about what their horses are doing. And it bogs me down sometimes. And then I started drinking the mind each time I needed to do any kind of paperwork, or had a nighttime Zoom or something. I would drink a mind, and that's just effective. I think the mood is really wonderful, but I'm pretty easygoing all the time anyway. So I've never really, but I have a really good friend who gets real anxious, and I said, here, and I gave her 2 or 3 of those, the little packets, the little cachets, and I said, go ahead and try these and tell me what you think. And she said, oh my gosh, how can I get more of this? She said, as soon as I started getting tense, I drank some of that and I just choked. So they're magical. I love the new products.
Yeah. So when I've been playing with them, I've primarily gravitated to mind and energy, actually, as a combo. But I'm not an expert on cell performance. I'm going to pass to, I don't know, somebody else.
Yeah, Ann can talk about them,
I
but
can add really quick because their time's almost up. I want Jim to get to the speaker. Yeah, really quick. So, energy is awesome. It has the B6, it has B12, it has guarana, it has ginseng, it has no crash, it has no jitters. So, I watched Jim go from 5 to 7 coffees, large Yeti, to 2 a week. I watched him lose weight. Then you combine it with mind. Mind is absolutely wonderful, not only for the cognitive and the brain health, but then you start really studying the ingredients, and they went really detailed in how this helps the pathways. And so it's helping your DNA impact. It's helping your blood sugar. So there's a lot more immune system than you think in these. And then the last one is mood, which is fabulous. I've mixed it with multiple different ways, different times of the day. And mood not only gives emotional balance, it helps hormones. It has B5 in it. It has pantothenic acid in it, which is also in source. And you cannot have too much of that for your body. So I would try it for $50 a month, and you get a month's supply. I can tell you it's much less than I saw at Trader Joe's, Nature's Grocers, Whole Foods, GNC, nothing synthetic. I mean, it's just, I cannot say enough how much that can impact you if you just try a month's worth.
And real quick on that, just go to, I would ask everyone to get back to the person that invited you to the call, but go to amazingmolecules.com. And if you scroll down, there are some excellent videos. If you want to go in depth on the amazing skincare system, on the amazing, I think the cell performance is going to be it's going to take us to the stratosphere. And then don't forget about the nutritional products as well. That's also Ann's expertise. And I think that's a huge missing link for the majority of people. But the one question I wanted to ask you, Marty, and also with you, Beth, because you were here really in the beginning. How did you handle the network marketing? Because I know a lot of people, oh God, it's one of those things. And then Marty, if you don't mind handling, it's saltwater. We got about 3 minutes. We can go a little bit long. But Beth, how did you handle, or did you have a problem with the networking aspect of how this technology is brought to the market?
I didn't, because to me, I've always been an entrepreneur, and to me, to think when it was explained to me that really it was chosen, this format, this mode of distribution was chosen, because how else are you going to tell anybody? How else are you going to try to market a product that says salt and water on the label, unless you understand that this is not salt and water? The finished product is not salt and water. It has to go through word of mouth marketing. That made perfect sense to me. And I was totally unconscious about the business. I joined as an associate because I wanted to get the most product for the best most cost effective way. And I just got unconscious. I was just giving it to everybody, saying, oh, the science is awesome. This is so cool. Here, drink this. It's not going to hurt you. Try this. Oh, look what it's done with and everybody was getting so excited, but not really knowing why, but they didn't care. They felt better. And then I started getting a thank you check from the company. Mm-hmm. And when I went back to the company, I thought, I better check and see. There's really a business here. I better check and make sure that the company that I'm putting my reputation behind by sharing these products, I can trust these people. And that's what sold me for life, because I've never met a finer group of human beings than the corporate leaders at Asea. And I will always, as soon as I met them, I said, I want to be more like these people. I want to spend the rest of my days helping like they do. I want to make the world a better place, if you will. And I got really serious after that, because it was so, and so when somebody says, is this network marketing? And I say, yes, and it's the best thing ever. Do you know what that means? And they go, really? And I say, yeah. And I just, so I'm very enthusiastic about it.
I love your response, Beth. So Marty, with your background, with your credentials, what did you think of networking and, again, saltwater?
Well, to do the networking piece first, I was not a fan. I got into Asea with absolutely no intention of being a network marketer. But when my life was transformed, in my mind, you have a responsibility to pay this forward. That's what this show is all about. You're paying it forward to people who don't know the story yet, and saying, this might transform your life. If not yours, somebody you care about may have 4 legs instead of 2. But may have feathers instead of fur, but you can transform another biological life if you want to. You have to learn about it. And then on the saltwater thing, we all are saltwater. Mm-hmm. The most common thing in my body, inside my cells, between my cells, is saltwater. And so I'm sorry if I go church on you, but this is God's design. There have always been redox signaling molecules in humans, animals, plants, and of course, humans are animals, if you've forgotten that from your biology class. So animal kingdom and the plant kingdom both need redox signaling molecules, and they come from salt and water. Sodium taken away from chloride is not salt anymore. It's one of these ions that Lee was talking about earlier. Mm-hmm. You take hydrogen away from oxygen, it's no longer water. And you recombine those ions into new combinations, and you have cellular redox signaling molecules. Don't blame me. I didn't do it, right? I'm just using it, right? Yeah. I can't build one of these things, but I can use it every day, because there's a cell tower outside, right? I can't necessarily explain every piece of this technology like Dr. Osler can, but I can use it every day, and so can you.
That's right.
Wow.
That's excellent.
That was awesome.
Y'all are wonderful.
Yeah, I'm an ex-financial advisor, and like I will tell anybody that if you would have brought this to me as an IPO, as initial public offering, or any executive came into my office and said they had one technology that did what you just said, works on everything alive, I would have said, you're crazy. I said, come on. But I love well, just try it. What's it going to hurt? And we have so many testimonials. When you guys started, you started a long time ago. We didn't have all the testimonials. You didn't have all the scientific studies, which we didn't have time to go into tonight. But I will also challenge you, for those that are new, go to aseascience.com. aseascience.com. All the studies are there. And then Dr. Osler has given us a phenomenal gift. Beyond the two big books that are beyond my shoulder, he also has created a website, which is redoxmatters.com. You can get his books there go to the books. You can also go to videos, and that's where this video will be within about 2 hours. We are live on Facebook, so it will be there now as well. Maureen, it was so cool having you back. I love you. You got younger looking, girl, after the last, like 4 months you haven't been here?
It's not that long.
6 months, maybe?
I've been
How
playing.
long's it been, Maureen?
It's only been 3 weeks.
Oh, okay.
Like a lifetime, I guess.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So we definitely missed you. So guys, Marty, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been too long since we had you and Beth on. Beth, you're phenomenal. If only people knew the degree of how much you adore pets, and you're such a phenomenal horse trainer with what you do. And it's such an honor that with what you've been able to do and pay it forward. And that's what we do here. We're paying this forward by having Maureen, who is a double boarded doctor, and Lee Osler, now famous author and world-class dentist, and with Marty and Beth. And well, what I say is we're either lying or this is true. It's either Memorex or it's real. And there's too much stuff out there to validate it. So please take the challenge, amazingmolecules.com, then go to redoxmatters.com, and then aseascience.com. Everything's there. It's whether you choose to believe it or not. So next week, we will actually be, Maureen and I and Ann will be live in Carrollton, Texas, where we will be doing a regional meeting. And what we love to do there is to line people up and have testimonial time. So we will be live from Carrollton, Texas, next Friday at 8 o'clock. Maureen, anything you want to add on?
No.
Come on, girl, say something funny. You've been going to all these comedy shows.
I know. Well, my kid is the comic, so.
I
but-
know too.
Yeah, but he got it all from you. I know that.
Aw.
Beth?
Beth?
Beth.
Yeah, Beth.
Go ahead, Beth.
I just was just saying that I've seen a lot of comments coming up. They were asking about what the animal web. It's animalwebinar.com. And if it's okay, it's password protected. The password is associate with a capital A. And that's where you can get into the archives there. That's where all the archives are. And my Facebook page is aseahealthypets.com. And that is only pet stories. So you can get on there and you can read hundreds of stories about pets.
That's awesome. And if you want to, sample or get the product, don't go to knockoff sites. Go to the person that invited you and let them sample you a case. Obviously, you pay for it, or a Renew 28 for a month, like Marty said, a couple of them for the whole family. And try the 3 and 5. Dr. Silverman has coined that video and that technique, because it does work. So please, again, purchase it only through people like the one invited you, that is, has the ability, license to do this, doesn't just try to give a knockoff item.
Yeah.
Okay?
Again, don't go to Amazon, because there has been product purchase is being sold illegally there, or stolen product. eBay, the Walmart.com, all these different sites. Guys, respect the people that introduced it to you. This is our business. This is our future livelihood. And again, one of these days, we're going to actually have a talk about the business. Don't shoot network marketing. If it wasn't for networking, you wouldn't be here. And so we wouldn't have this technology, and Marty wouldn't look so handsome, and Beth so young, and Maureen with her big old smile, and Lee up there. So guys, we just love doing this. We have a blast doing it. And we want to thank you. So the video will be up on redoxmatters.com, and it obviously is on Facebook as we speak in Asea United. So Marty, you want to say anything?
God bless.
God bless. Oh, happy 4th of July.
Oh, that's
Go
right.
out. We're going to have a great time at a church. There's going to be a great fireworks display and a concert. And so we're having a blast, but be safe, guys.
Well, we have some people from Canada on tonight. Happy Canada Day. Today's Canada Day.
And that's today.
Today.
Yeah, their holidays today, and then ours is coming up on Monday. So guys, thank you. God bless.
Bye.
Happy 4th of July.
Bye.
We'll see you guys. God bless everybody. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks, Beth. Thanks, Marty.
Thank you. Thank you both.